Across the world, there are stories that defy explanation. Stories that remain steeped in mystery, lives lost under strange, unexplained circumstances, leaving only questions, confusion, and an eerie sense of unease. Who were they? What happened to them? And why do their deaths continue to haunt us, years or even decades after they occurred? Today, we will journey through some of the most baffling, chilling true stories of those who disappeared without a trace or met their end under the most mysterious of circumstances. We will attempt to uncover the secrets behind their deaths, but be warned, sometimes the answers we seek may be more terrifying than the unknown. Let's begin with the perplexing disappearance of Maura Murray, a young college student who vanished without a trace in the snowy mountains of New Hampshire. On the night of February 9, 2004, Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, crashed her car on Route 112 in New Hampshire. Strangely, she didn't call for help. Instead, she disappeared into the woods without a trace. And despite an extensive search, Maura Murray was never found. The circumstances of her disappearance remain baffling. Witnesses reported seeing a woman matching her description walking away from the scene. But there were no signs of struggle or foul play. The question remains, what happened to Maura after that fateful night? Some believe Maura may have been trying to escape a life of increasing personal struggles. Others suspect foul play. However, no trace of Maura's body or evidence of her whereabouts has ever been discovered, and her case remains unsolved, with countless theories circulating about her fate. Amelia Earhart, a name synonymous with daring adventure and unprecedented courage. In 1937, Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, vanished while attempting to fly around the world. What happened during that final flight has left experts and amateurs alike baffled for decades. Their disappearance over the Pacific Ocean remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Some theorize that Earhart's plane ran out of fuel, crashing into the vast ocean. Others suggest they may have been captured by the Japanese as they were flying close to territories involved in World War II. Asterisk cut to a reenactment of the radio transmissions where Earhart's voice cracks and disappears into static. Asterisk. Narrator grave. Despite several searches and years of investigation, no definitive wreckage has ever been found, and the theories continue to swirl. Was Amelia Earhart lost at sea, or did she meet a more sinister fate? Narrator mysteriously Jimmy Hoffa, a man whose name is forever linked with unions, politics, and organized crime, disappeared on July 30th, 1975, from the parking lot of the Machu's Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. Hoffa, the infamous former president of the Teamsters Union, was last seen entering the restaurant to meet with two mobsters. Narrator hauntingly to this day, no one knows for certain what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. Some believe he was killed by the mafia for his attempts to regain control of the Teamsters. Others suggest he was betrayed by his own associates, while some theories even speculate that Hoffa may have been buried under the floor of the former stadium. Narrator calm, investigative, Hoffa's disappearance remains one of the most famous cold cases in American history, a mystery shrouded in conspiracy, betrayal, and secrets that may never be uncovered. Narrator, with an air of dread, in 2013, Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian tourist, was found dead in the water tank of the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. The circumstances surrounding her death are as chilling as they are mysterious. Narrator, creepy tone. Elisa's death was even more bizarre given the CCTV footage, which showed her in a state of distress. She appears to be hiding from someone or something, pressing elevator buttons erratically and peering out of the doors in confusion. Days later, her body was discovered in the hotel's rooftop water tank, with no clear explanation of how she ended up there. Narrator, calmly, despite the strange footage, there was no evidence of foul play. Theories range from mental illness to paranormal explanations, but no definitive cause has ever been determined. What drove Elisa Lam to act as she did? Was it simply a tragic accident, or something more sinister lurking in the dark? Narrator, intrigue, dark tone. Another enigma lies within the pages of the Voynich manuscript, a mysterious book discovered in the early 20th century. This manuscript, written in an unknown script and filled with bizarre illustrations of strange plants and celestial diagrams, has baffled cryptographers, linguists, and historians for centuries. Despite numerous attempts by some of the brightest minds in history, the Voynich manuscript has never been fully deciphered. Some claim it is a hoax, others believe it may contain lost knowledge from ancient civilizations. What's certain is that the mystery of the manuscript has remained unsolved, and its true origin is still unknown. In 2006, former Russian FSB officer Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned with a radioactive substance known as polonium-210. His death was a political statement, and it shocked the world. Litvinenko had been a vocal critic of the Russian government, and his death is believed to have been orchestrated by Russian agents. He famously blamed President Vladimir Putin for his poisoning before his death, making it one of the most politically charged deaths of the 21st century. The case remains unresolved in many ways, with investigations continuing into the circumstances surrounding his death. What is clear is that the political implications of his death continue to ripple through global affairs. In 1966, a series of strange sightings in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, would forever change the folklore of the United States. Locals began reporting a winged creature with glowing red eyes, an entity known as the Mothman. The sightings peaked in 1967, when the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. Some believe the Mothman was a harbinger of doom, a creature whose appearance foreshadowed the disaster. To this day, the Mothman continues to be a mystery, an eerie presence that remains etched in the minds of those who witnessed it. Deep in the woods of southwestern Vermont lies the Bennington Triangle, a region infamous for its unexplained disappearances and eerie happenings. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people disappeared under strange circumstances, their bodies never found. Theories abound. Were they victims of foul play, or did the area itself harbor some dark force that took them? The disappearances remain unsolved, the mystery unresolved. And then there's the legend of the Jersey Devil, a creature said to haunt the Pine Barrens of southern New Jersey. Described as a winged, hoofed beast with a terrifying screech, the Jersey Devil has haunted the region for centuries. Is the Jersey Devil simply a product of folklore, or is there something truly monstrous lurking in the Pine Barrens? Eyewitnesses continue to report strange sightings, keeping the legend alive. The Bermuda Triangle, an area in the North Atlantic Ocean known for the mysterious disappearances of ships and aircraft. For centuries, countless vessels and planes have vanished without explanation, creating an atmosphere of fear and intrigue. Some say it's a vortex into another dimension, while others believe magnetic anomalies cause equipment malfunctions. Whatever the reason, the Bermuda Triangle remains one of the most chilling and unexplained mysteries on Earth. In 1959, a group of experienced hikers set out into the Ural Mountains, only to be found dead under the most bizarre circumstances. Their tent was found slashed open from the inside, their bodies scattered, and some even missing their eyes and tongues. The cause of death remains a mystery to this day. Was it a result of a natural disaster or something more sinister? Theories abound, but no definitive answers have been found. Ghost hunting has become an increasingly popular phenomenon in recent years. Using equipment like electromagnetic field detectors, infrared cameras, and audio recorders, paranormal investigators explore haunted locations in search of evidence of the supernatural. But can the existence of ghosts be scientifically proven? Or is it just the mind playing tricks on us, influenced by our beliefs and fears? The line between reality and the supernatural remains blurred. As we've explored today, the world is filled with mysterious deaths and strange disappearances, cases that continue to haunt us long after the last whispers fade. Some will remain unsolved, their secrets lost to time. Others may one day be uncovered, though the answers may be even darker than we imagine. We may never fully understand these events, but the pursuit of the truth continues, driven by curiosity, fear, and the desire to unlock the secrets of the unknown. If you've encountered a mystery of your own, one that still chills you to the bone, share your thoughts with us. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious.
On a snowy Christmas Eve in 1945, the Soder family's home in rural West Virginia was consumed by fire. But what should have been a tragic, but ordinary house fire turned into a mystery that has never been solved. 5 children vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions, and a family left searching for answers that still elude them to this day. What happened to the Soder children? It was Christmas Eve, 1945, when the Soder family's home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, caught fire. George and Jenny Soder, along with 9 of their children, were inside the house. But when the fire was extinguished, only 4 children were found safe. 5 were missing. They would never be seen again. Inside the Soder household, the family was in high spirits. The children were playing with their new Christmas toys, and George and Jenny were preparing for the holiday. But a faint smell of smoke would soon disrupt the night. The family had no idea that their lives were about to be changed forever. Suddenly, smoke filled the air. The fire spread quickly, engulfing the house. George and Jenny rushed to the children's rooms, calling their names, but the smoke was thick, and the flames were spreading faster than they could escape. By the time the fire department arrived, the house had been nearly destroyed. But in the aftermath of the fire, something was strange. The 5 missing children had left no trace behind. The fire was intense, but it didn't make sense. Typically, the remains of people who perish in a house fire are identifiable. Yet, there was no sign of the 5 Sodder children. Their beds were untouched, their belongings were intact. It was as though they had simply vanished. For George and Jenny, the shock of losing their children was compounded by the inexplicable circumstances of their disappearance. Could the children have perished in the fire, or was there something more sinister at play? As investigators began to sift through the aftermath, they found strange inconsistencies. George, who had been fighting the fire, noticed that the phone lines had been cut before the fire started. And neighbors reported seeing a suspicious car parked near the house earlier that evening. Some believed that the fire was deliberately set to cover up a kidnapping. And with the phone lines cut, the family couldn't call for help or warn the authorities. Had the Sodder children been taken before the fire even started? The investigation into the children's disappearance turned up few leads. But in the years that followed, George and Jenny would not give up. They continued searching for their children, even offering a reward for information about their whereabouts. And then, new and disturbing clues began to surface. One day, a woman claimed to have seen the missing children after the fire. She said she saw them in a car with 2 men, just hours after the fire had started. Was this a credible sighting, or another piece in a puzzling mystery? We believed in what she said. There were so many unanswered questions. The fire was the beginning, but the search for answers didn't end that night. As years went by, the search for the missing Sodder children continued, but the trail grew cold. Theories flourished, from mob involvement to accidental disappearance, but none were ever proven. The case remained an enigma. There was no concrete evidence to suggest what happened to the children. But there were too many signs, too many red flags, to dismiss it as just a tragic fire. The Sodder family was convinced their children had been taken, and they never stopped searching. In the years following the fire, the Sodder family continued to receive strange phone calls. One man claimed to have seen the children alive, living far away in another state. Another individual sent them a photo of a young woman they believed could have been one of the missing children. But none of these leads ever panned out. Perhaps the most chilling piece of evidence came years after the fire, when a photograph was sent anonymously to the Sodder family. It was a picture of a woman who appeared to resemble their missing daughter, Betty. Was it her? Or was it a cruel hoax? The mystery of the Sodder children's disappearance has never been solved. Over 70 years have passed, but the family's search for the truth never stopped. Was it a tragic accident? A kidnapping orchestrated by someone close to the family? Or something more sinister? For George and Jenny Sodder, the heartache never faded. They never gave up hope that their children would one day come home. And for the world, the disappearance of the Sodder children remains a haunting mystery, one that challenges everything we think we know about fate, fire, and family.